We know you're the best.
Thank you. Well, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, but more importantly, I want to thank you all for what you've done the last year and a half. It has been quite a journey. And what have we been saying the whole time? If we don't deal with spending,
nothing else matters.
Thank you. You know what? That message got through loud and clear to this campaign all over Virginia. And I was talking to some reporters today, and they were asking me about the purpose of the campaign. I said, look, tonight was significant. And I want you to walk away from tonight really believing that tonight was significant. If you think about all the things that the political pundits and the media said to us over the last year and a half, think about everything that they've said to us. Remember when we raised our first $100,000, I'm looking at Debbie, and the reporter said, well, that's all the money she'll raise. Her campaign's done. We raised 8 times that amount, not from special interests, not from that was the grassroots speaking. Over 7,000 donations to this campaign. It is unbelievable that we didn't get any outside help. Not outside help on cash, not outside help on endorsements, not outside help from the media, no outside help in what we raised. Then they said, well, okay, she did that, but she'll never get on the ballot. Not only did we get on the ballot, we had more people knocking on doors, and we got at the top of the ballot, thanks to every single one. Mark and Anita Howe collected 1,000 themselves.
I got a new gun for it, too. I got it, yeah. That's what Beat at the Gun Show will do for you.
That's
when you work in the gun show.
Then they said to us, well, that's fine, but you know, George Allen will never debate her. Never debate her. Well, on that one, he probably should have listened. Because we did quite well in the debates. But that was because, again, of the grassroots. We really would never have gotten 3 debates if it hadn't been for you in the grassroots demanding that people running for office be accountable to those that they're asking for their vote. And then, over the last 4 to 5 weeks, all the pundits and all the political people said, she's not going to even get above 5%. She's not going to get out of the single digits. And we just took over 25%. I am so proud of what we've done because we really have made great strides here. And I want you to know that this is just the beginning of a battle. When you look at where we were 3 years ago, where we were completely ignored by the political establishment, we weren't even recognized. And look at how far we've come. And, you know, this is just a moment in time. The battle goes on here in Virginia as well as across the country. There's 2 things that I think about that's significant about this race. The first thing is we have made it a priority that we have got to restore credibility and integrity to the party on issues. And we've said that on spending, we've got to make that a Republican issue again. We've got to make spending a priority. We can't be giving that up and decide that spending's not important. And we in the Conservative and Tea Party movement have put that issue back on the table. Because before we were around, they just spent and spent and spent. And now they're talking about balanced budgets. And even some of them talking about eliminating entire departments. The second thing that I think is the most meaningful is that we have shown that accountability needs to be brought back into the party. Accountability. I had so many people tell me I was breaking Reagan's 11th commandment. And I said to them, you know, the race with Ronald Reagan against Gerald Ford in 76, there was no 11th commandment. I, in this campaign, was more concerned with the other 2 commandments, which is telling the truth and don't steal my money. Those were the two that I was the most concerned about. But you know, if you'll remember how it turned out for Reagan in '76, he wasn't quite successful in '76, but he sure did a heck of a job in 1980. Guys, I will tell you the thing that excites me most. I told this to a reporter today that came by. I've been doing this for a long time, before the Tea Party movement was around. You know, Joe Glover's been doing it a long time. And we would try to challenge people in the Republican Party, and we could not get any interest. Because people would look and they'd see an R or a D behind the name, and they just wouldn't get involved. They'd say, oh, well, they're Republican, so it doesn't matter. And they would not look at a candidate for the issues. It's been so refreshing the last 3 years and on this campaign that someone doesn't come to me and ask me, are you Republican? They go, where do you stand on the Fed? Where do you stand on spending? Where do you stand on foreign policy? Where do you stand on life? They want to vote for you based on the issues. They're not going to just vote for you because you're a Republican anymore. That will restore integrity to the party. That will re-energize the conservative movement. And that will help us win in November when we beat Barack Obama.
Yeah.
So I want to thank all of you for what you've done. So many of you have logged in so many hours on my bus, knocking on doors, making phone calls, tweeting, giving money. And I think the thing that's been the most overwhelming for me is watching people not giving of their time and of their money because they have the spare time and they have the spare money, but watching people give sacrificially. Not because it's Jamie Radtke, but because it's for our country. And you agreed with me that if we don't do something in the next 24 to 48 months, nothing else is going to matter. So I want to thank you. I called George Allen before I came out here and wished him congratulations and told him that we would talk later. I have a few outstanding issues I'd like to address with him. But, you know, as I thought about this speech tonight, the one thing, and my family can tell you, the one thing that I kept thinking about is, what is the one thing I can say that will keep you in the fight? Because I've been fighting this battle for 10 years, more than 10 years. And I can tell you one thing, it is a lot more fun to be in this fight with all of you than doing it by yourself or a limited amount of people. So no election is really lost if we wage it. And we waged the battle. We ran the race, and we have succeeded, in my book. We have absolutely succeeded. So I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank, now this might be where I get emotional. I held it up to this point. But I want to thank my husband. There he is. I thought women were good at multitasking. My husband can do dishes, do laundry, update my website, and do a full-time job all at the same time.
Wow.
I want to thank my 3 children, Abigail, Sarah, and Luke. I have to tell you, a 10, 8, and 5-year-old, and they have just this whole time gone with me. I've dragged them all over the state. They've knocked on hundreds of doors. My son came home Sunday school on Sunday. He came down and he said, "Mom, I think I got you another vote in Sunday school." They've been tireless campaigners, and I love them dearly for being patient when Mom had to be away so many nights. And I want to thank my mom and Gil, who walked thousands of doors, made thousands of phone calls, even after knee surgery. And I want to thank you for all the sacrifice you made in putting your life on hold for the last year and a half. And I want to thank my staff, who've been amazing. Debbie Agliano, over here. very beginning, since before the campaign, and unfortunately she will be the last one on the campaign because she has to file the last financial report. Poor thing. But Debbie, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your commitment and your steadfastness and all the sacrifice, and Billy, all this letting her have us for the last year and a half. I really appreciate it. And your daughter, wherever and Lindsay Lewis, who went from development director to field director to practically campaign Lindsay, I can honestly say there's probably about 6,000 law school referrals that you could get across the state now. I want to thank Joe Glover, who's been a consultant in my campaign, and one of the things I appreciate about Joe is he was somebody that I could fight with. And I know that sounds strange.
Remember that,
But when in a campaign, you need someone to really push you and fight you and say, this is what you're going to do, and not just always bow down to you. And one thing Joe doesn't do is bow down to anybody. And just bear with me on a few more thank yous, but I want to thank Chuck Hansen, who's been my media guy. We were always excited when Chuck came to the office because we knew we were all going to be smiling. Always, it has the best spirit. So thank you. Someone I want to thank that's been a mentor for me, not a mentor on how to be a candidate, but a mentor on principles and how to lead a conservative movement and how to push good ideas has been Pat McSweeney. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And someone else that has been a best friend of me, a prayer partner on Sunday nights, and someone who can do a really good job at raising some money is Karen Hurd. Yay, Karen and I co-founded the Virginia Tea Party Federation, and we've been able to continue to move forward and push the idea that we've got to bring government back to the people. So there's so many people that, I look at everyone and I can see a different story. Homeschool moms, I think of Kathy and Mary that have been in my office every single week volunteering. I look at ONC Tea Party leaders, I think people that have financially given so much, and I just want to thank you all for everything that you've done. Steve Mon came in, and I finally had an IT genius in the office, and I could say, how do you make this happen? And he could make it happen every time. I just want to thank you all. And I want you all to promise me that you're going to keep on fighting, because just in the same way that Reagan set that foundation in 76 to go on to 80 to bring about the conservative wave in 1980, I firmly believe with all my heart that we have set the foundation for the conservative wave beyond 2012, that we are something to be feared. I've been watching Twitter and they're going, how in the world? She got 0.25% of the vote. They weren't expecting that, and that was only because of grassroots. And just think of it like this, and I'll close. $6.5 million against a small army of faithful, committed, passionate people who believe in their issues. We are a powerful force. So let's take our message forward. And thank you all for being here tonight to help make this night special. Thank you.